It's officially September. The summer movie season is officially closed. So today I'm going to rank the 10 August new releases I've seen. This month was a little rough. It wasn't that good of a month for movies for me. There wasn't that many franchise films. There's a lot of smaller movies, and quite a bit of them I was just not all that high on. I think this has been the worst month of the year for movies so far. Very disappointing month. But before I dive into my ranking, I would love to know what are the movies you saw down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell so you never miss another ranking. That would be greatly appreciated. And with that said, number 10 is technically a movie that released in July, but I didn't watch it until like the middle of August or sometime, and my review on it did really great on my channel. So I figured I'd talk about it here. Yes, that's right. It's Ice Cube's War of the Worlds. It's a movie that exists. I can tell you that much. It's not a good movie that exists. It's quite terrible. I already have a rant on the channel, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I feel like if it was a YouTube video, kind of like a YouTube experiment, be passable. You know, it'd be bad, but it'd still be, yeah, you know, people created this and put it on YouTube. No, this is on Amazon Prime with Ice Cube, Eva Longoria, and a budget, a director, and people that are making money. What? They made War of the Worlds. This is a movie that people wrote a script for, and people watched after it was done, and thought, yeah, okay, release it. Why? Why put this out? Tax write it off. It's horrible. The script is horrible. Whoever thought it was a good idea to make a War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube just sitting at his computer making faces like, what? What's going on? Oh, hell no. Bad idea. The aliens look like something from a PlayStation 1 video game, and in the big grand year of 2025, that is just inexcusable. It's funny. Not intentionally, but it is very funny. I kid you not. In this movie, you know how you're on a Zoom call and someone's on low internet and like it'll do all the glitchy effects? They do that so much in here. It's very clearly shot on a Zoom call that they couldn't even be bothered to be in areas with real internet. It looks terrible. It's written terrible. It's directed terrible. And it's a movie I cannot believe was actually put out. I'm kind of glad it exists, though, because I'll tell you what, I had a fun time watching. I didn't finish the movie, obviously, because I have better things to do with my life, but I had a fun time watching it until the movie got boring. So at the very least, it made for some really funny memes. The movie doesn't have much else going for it, though. In my number 9 spot, we got Relay, which is a new film by David Mackenzie, director of the critically praised Hell or High Water, which I actually recently watched just like a month ago, and I thought was pretty solid. Which, it pains me to say this one just doesn't work for me. I think the moment the movie started, the first half hour to 45 minutes is just completely incomprehensible. It's boring. It makes no sense. I don't know what's happening. And then it kind of calms itself down. It's not good, but it does a few more interesting things that make the movie worth watching. Riz Ahmed and Lily James in the movie, they have really no chemistry whatsoever. But, you know, it had a couple of cool action sequences. But I officially lost interest in this movie when we enter the third act. And earlier in the movie, I thought, what if... And there are spoilers here because it's been out for a while. But in the third act, there came a moment where I thought, what if they reveal that Lily James is actually a villain? And then I thought to myself, no, they wouldn't do that because that's stupid. That's the stupidest thing you could do here. Well, guess what? They revealed that Lily James was a villain. And at that point, I was just like, I'm checking out. I'm done with this movie. The script is not very good. It didn't really have anything going for it. And like the rare moments where I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, overall could not save a movie that I just felt to be a dull and lifeless experience with a terrible twist. In my number 8 spot, we got Sketch. This is a latest film from Angel Studios, which apparently gets a lot of hate, really controversial. And I feel like this one's completely fine if you want to take your family out to go see it. It's completely harmless, but it's not specifically a good movie. It is fine. It's got fine moments to it. It's got a decent theme. But overall, for me, I think specifically because I am a 19-year-old who has interest in different movies, this one just felt dull to me. I couldn't connect with the characters that much. It has a huge case of telling and not showing when it comes to the emotions and what actually is going on there. Like, several times, it's basically preached to you like, us men gotta stop shoving down our feelings and we gotta communicate with people. Basically shoved down our throats at that point, so I just didn't vibe with that, didn't vibe with the characters. I honestly thought the child actors were very annoying. And the third act, it just gets so stupid and zany, and it feels like they actually just kind of were like, okay, yeah, who cares about the plot? Let's have her do backflips and have the kid pull out a flamethrower, because that'd be cool. And overall, it just really didn't work. It's an hour and a half. If you got a family, I'm pretty sure you guys could go out and maybe enjoy this one more than I did. But I was not the target audience for this, and it did not work for me that much. Number 7, Honey Don't. Now, I will give it that it is so much better than Drive Away Dolls, which was the movie by Ethan Coen last year that starred Margaret Qualley and another hot female having lesbian sex. Yeah, that's pretty much what this movie is. The only reason I went to the theaters to see this is because Chris Evans was in this movie as a crazy pastor. And I'll tell you what, Chris Evans is awesome in this movie. He is hilarious. What they wanted to do with him, making him this wild character, was exactly what I wanted from this movie for him. There are moments that I think are really, really good here. The middle of the movie, I had no idea where the movie was headed. So I was like, okay, that's very interesting. That's very cool. But by the time we get to the third act and Chris Evans becomes less prominent, very clearly the movie loses his charm. The story, I just really didn't vibe with. It's kind of boring, kind of like, oh, who murdered this girl? A movie we've seen 1,000 times before, and honestly, I've seen 100 different better versions of this. I didn't think that worked whatsoever, and by the time we get to the final scene in the movie, it is my most hated scene in a movie all year. Spoiler alert, again, Aubrey Plaza turns out to be the villain. Again, very obvious, I knew it from the start, but she turned out to be the villain, and her final scene was terrible. She's just standing there and she's like, yeah, you guys always doubted me and think I'm the crazy lady. Well, guess what? I'm not crazy because I'm gonna murder you. And I swear that is pretty much how the line delivery was. Aubrey Plaza is a fantastic actress. Very clearly phoning it in here, and it just didn't work. And, you know, the more the movie goes on, it's very clear that Ethan Coen, Trisha Cook are probably the two horniest filmmakers out there, because they made 2 back-to-back movies that the prime focus, with numerous scenes in the movie, are lesbian sex. Not really for me, but hey, Chris Evans, a lot of fun. And my number 6 spot, The Bad Guys 2. Now, it's kind of weird having Honey Don't and The Bad Guys 2 back-to-back next to each other, but The Bad Guys 2, for me, was a movie where the first one had its own type of magic. It's not as good as other DreamWorks movies, but it has its own type of magic, own type of fun. In this one, I just felt the magic was gone. I didn't think it was all that magical. I didn't think that the story was all that compelling. I didn't vibe with the characters that much. I just found them to be kind of annoying. The story is very basic, very repetitive, very boring. There are some moments, especially in the middle of the movie, where it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like where that's going. The animation, always great. The voice cast is always good, but they made the characters the most annoying, high energy, where quite literally you have the characters, or like some characters, tell a stupid fart joke, and then like they all just sit there and stare at the camera and just open their mouths like this obnoxious laugh and go, ha 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 ha, like 100 times in this movie. I was pretty much over it. Like, little kids are going to vibe this. I was in a theater with about 10 little kids, and they were all having a blast. But for me, it's not my type of movie. And with the story, where in that first movie the annoying elements are replaced with an actually compelling story, this one is not. The story gets repetitive. We get to the ending of the movie and you know exactly how the movie's going to end. They tried to do a setup for a third Bad Guys movie, and at this point I don't really care because I couldn't care about the ending. They try to fake the characters' deaths, and obviously, you know, yeah, they're not dead. They wouldn't kill off the characters. You know exactly how the movie's going to end, and the movie gets boring. So there are moments here. It's a pretty big step up from Honey Don't. But it's a movie that I just didn't vibe with, really, on a level at all. At my number 6, and let's be perfectly clear, this is a huge step up. The Bad Guys 2 is in my bottom 15 of the year. This movie is about 12 spaces higher on this list. And that's The Naked Gun remake with Liam Neeson. Now, I know you guys are going to be looking at this list and say, The Naked Gun? Did you not like it? Why is it so low? I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. It is genuinely funny. I laughed my ass off constantly in this movie. Liam Neeson's deadpan comedy is great. The homage to other action movies is great. There's a sequence with curtains, see-through glasses, and a dog that is just the best comedy sequence that I've seen in years. I don't think I've laughed that hard at any other movie probably my entire life. That was one of the funniest sequences I've seen in a long time. So it's a funny movie. It obviously hits the funny notes. But for me, as someone who's not the biggest comedy fan, honestly, the movie kind of wore thin by the end. They pay homage to Mission Impossible, which is really cool. But by the end, I was like, I'd much rather be watching Mission Impossible than watching this. Because comedy is a genre for me that doesn't really work for me. Other people love comedy. I'm very rarely going to turn on a comedy. It's not my genre. But for a comedy movie, it works. But it runs thin by the end. And so for a personal preference, I just have to put it this low. Which is not very low. But still, it's miles better than The Bad Guys 2. In my number 4 spot, Freakier Friday. One of the biggest surprises of the year for me. I thought this movie was just a pretty big blast. I thought the movie could be quite funny. I like the leads. Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis obviously are great here. I like the relationship that they have. It's a predictable journey. You know exactly how it's going to end, but it is fun just because of the cast chemistry between each other. And at the end of the movie, they try to do these emotions. I saw the trailer and I thought, oh no. They are doing this because they want their parents to break up. But in the movie, they actually make an understandable reason for that. And I sat back and was like, that's actually understandable. I understand these characters. Maybe it's because I'm closer to their age than I am to the parents' age, but I understood the motive, and I thought it worked in this movie. I do think the third act gets quite a bit repetitive for me. I didn't think it was as near as good as the rest of the movie. Started to lose a little bit of interest, but it goes a darker route. It tries to hit all these emotions, which don't quite work for me. But it tried there. In fact, honestly, when I went to go see Relay, I went to a bathroom break, and the door was open, and I was sitting there. Or not sitting, but I was going to the bathroom. And I heard this mother outside the door. She said, yeah, my daughter didn't like the movie because it was so dang emotional. I just wish movies wouldn't be so emotional these days. I was standing there, wiener in hand, at the urinal. And I thought to myself, what? You wish movies wouldn't try to go emotional? That's what I liked about this movie. Even though they didn't quite work for me, I liked that they went emotional. She didn't, apparently. But overall, the movie I just had a good time with. And so as a movie I thought I would hate to be this high on this list, it's a good movie. Kicking off the top 3, before I do, it would mean a lot to me if you'd hit the subscribe button, the like, and the bell so you never miss another video, and comment down below what is your ranking of the August movies you've seen. Number 3, Darren Aronofsky's new film, Caught Stealing. I really enjoyed this one. It's like a Guy Ritchie action thriller, not directed by Guy Ritchie, and it has style. Darren Aronofsky's directing style was great. I went to the bathroom, and the thought in my head when I did was, this movie has sauce. This movie is cool. The cinematography is beautiful. There are a couple shots that have stayed in my head since watching the movie. You hit the middle of the movie and it goes from like, okay, this is really intriguing to holy crap, this is really dark. People die in this movie that you don't think are going to die. The performances are all great. Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, two amazing performances in here. Vincent D'Onofrio is obviously such a delight. I love watching him. So it's a movie that has talent behind the camera, talent in front of the camera, also has sauce. It is very reminiscent of a Guy Ritchie action thriller, but it's the most Guy Ritchie action thriller you've probably seen in years. And I had a great time with it. Now, the movie did get a little repetitive heading into the third act, but it honestly kind of ended on a note where I was like, hell yeah, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly how I wanted the movie to end. And so while it did run a little bit long, I think the ending paid it off perfectly. In my number 2 spot, Nobody 2. Now, I saw the first film, and I was highly disappointed by it. I was not the biggest fan of that first film. It's a 3-star movie, but I was expecting it to be a 5-star movie. This is everything I wanted from that first movie. As someone who is a massive fan of action comedies, this is an action comedy I really enjoyed. It's funny. It has the payoff where you just feel like clapping, cheering in your seat because they pay off the sequences that you want to see paid off. Has a great cast. Bob Odenkirk as his character is a delight as always. The action, incredible. There's a sequence in an arcade where the action starts that's just great, and every single action sequence is just shot very well. I'm only going to say his first name. The director, Timo, knows how to direct action, and it's very clear here, as this is an action movie, that the prime goal is to have great action for an action comedy, and it works. So, great action, funny movie, and I think it was just the perfect way to end out the summer. Now, in the third act, they did try to rush it a little bit to get it under an hour and a half, so they rushed the emotional moments that just did not work for me whatsoever. But the more the movie goes on, it kind of redeems itself with a great third act action sequence, because yet again, the action in this movie is great. So, just a movie to end out the summer that I had an absolute blast with. Nobody 2, I honestly think is better than the original. But my number 1, my favorite movie from August, and the only movie from August, is in the top 10 of the year. Every month this year, at least in the summer, has had numerous movies in the top 10. This is the only one with 1. And that obviously is Zach Cregger's latest film, Weapons. Now, it's unfortunate that the first 45 minutes of this movie are highly disappointing for me. The first 45 minutes, I was like, what are we doing here? Feels like we're going in all these directions that don't make sense to the end game. But then we hit a certain point, and it starts to go from, okay, I don't know what we're doing here, to, okay, Zach Cregger, I see the vision. I see every little plot point that you are pulling into to get a grand finale. And it's simple, yet extravagant. There's a certain character in this movie that scared the living bejesus out of me that I thought was performed great. Apparently, they're considering a spin-off from this character, which would be a terrible idea, in my opinion. But, I mean, she was a great character in this movie. The cast, all across the board, Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, all great in this movie. And it's just such a unique movie. Zach Cregger is 2 for 2. He did Barbarian, he did this. And what he's very good at is taking you on roller coaster rides where you don't expect that to be the outcome. And that is the outcome, what he does in both of those movies. So he's 2 for 2. Weapons is a top 10 movie of the year because by the time you get to the end, it is a horrifying blast. I loved this movie. All right, please tell me down below in the comments, what are your favorite movies from August? And if you would, rank all the movies you've seen from August. That is my ranking. Stay tuned very soon. My next video is going to be the Jaws review because I'm seeing it in theaters for the first time tonight. So stay tuned for a Jaws review on the channel. And then it's Conjuring week, so prepare for a Conjuring Last Rites review. And then we're ranking the movies, and then we're ranking the demons in the Conjuring franchise. With that said, thank you for clicking on this video. Subscribe.